Hello, my name is Brian. This is Football Match 22, and I'm back in Malia. We're opening in on the club info screen, specifically the facilities screen. We have state-of-the-art training facilities now, good youth facilities, adequate academy coaching, good youth recruitment. Those bottom three we certainly like to improve, and we have over the last couple of years, but they won't be the key that we need to winning the European Champions League with a team of all African and players of African heritage and African background that to win the Champions League, but it certainly doesn't hurt, and it certainly feels good. I have lobbied to get affiliates that are on the African continent, or any affiliates at all. We don't have enough reputation, I think, yet, or perhaps it's a level of academy coaching or something I need to get the right affiliate I want to ask for, the right type of affiliate. We still do have our link with Sochaux, who got promoted up to League 1 in France. So I'll be keeping an eye on their players for any players with an African nationality, second nationality probably behind French, as well as using them as an opportunity this year to at least loan out one player. I'm going to be speaking very fast and hopefully not pausing much because there's so much to go over. I'm not even going to go to the Club Vision screen. It's all good. There's only been 2 games this year. Not much to talk about. So, let's talk about the outgoing transfers from the summer window. Bertrand Traoré, Chadi Riyad, both gone on freeze, Club Brugge, Getafe. We sold Amin Mazouzi to Club Brugge for $2.6 million. This is the sale I feel a little bad about. He is a center back. We find a lot of center backs who are competent out of the African continent. It's finding other positions that's a little difficult. He's got an unsporting personality, which isn't amazing, but he's either footed. He's got, basically, if he had 2 more pace, 1 more acceleration, I don't think long and hard about him. He's 22, so he's probably doesn't have a ton more development in him, but man, just looking at PA, those 4 stars and the half of 1 more, it does taunt me. Especially as well the spike in his value. I think he might legitimately go on to be a good player. I'm pretty sure we have a percentage of profit in his next deal, though, and I got tired of loaning him out only to, not just kind of the loan cycle of foreverness. We've loaned Mohamed Doumbia out to Ibiza in La Liga 2. We've loaned Carlos Hernandez out to Tenerife in La Liga 2. We've loaned Wilson Jallo out to Castellón, along with Ordi Macchiati. The only problem is they are both left wingers, so they are probably going to steal playing time to each other. But hey, they'll have it all. We sold Friday Anthony to Dijon. He's got good physicals and mentals, but for a center mid, his technicals are not good enough. The big surprise-ish signing or sale was we sold Ibrahima Kawio to Hoffenheim for $19.5 million. He was a very good player. Ultimately, his pace sitting at 12, his acceleration of 13 kind of was part of it. Part of it was also he got a little more injury prone as we went, and his performance, his goals, and his average ratings just kind of sunk. He wasn't a bad player by any means. He just wasn't the player he was before, and we got young players up behind him, and we needed $20 million, give or take. Malid Halle, unambitious personality, which is just sad. We sold him to Juventus for $4.2 million. Love it. And again, his value has skyrocketed being on Juventus, but I just can't see him developing with an unambitious personality, even though he's still 20. So I was happy to get the money out on him. We've loaned out Azine Boras, another center back, out of Algeria this time. I really like to see him pick up some speed, some acceleration, but he's unambitious. Hopefully in 2-3 years, worst case, we'll be able to move him on like we did Halle and the other guy and make a profit. And the other two, and Nordin Al-Jali, he's the one I have more hope for since he has a balanced personality, so maybe that personality will let him actually put in work. He is at Sochaux in Liga 1, so he will be hopefully playing at a Big 5 level, so that should be even better as opposed to all my guys who are often loaned to La Liga 2. So let's talk about intake. Our first intake was Asan Kasama, Out of Valencia Mestalla, which is, a third-tier team in 1A REFEF, Grupo 2. It's crazy. I completely missed on this player until this last winter window. And he looks kind of like a Noureddin Hamidi clone to me. He's already got 15 pace, 13 acceleration, great physical block. I guess his height is the problem. He doesn't have Hamidi's height. So he's a much better potentialed Frederick Ananu regen, because this is much like Ananu. Anu 6 foot even, has a very good physical block, okay mental block, has the appropriate defensive technicals, doesn't really have the attacking technicals. Right-footed, he has some experience playing out right back. We can play him in the center. Jumping reach 13. It's on the lower end of what you'd like to see, but it's good enough. So we're definitely going to be playing him and developing him. He's not the center back we wanted, but he is the center back we have. He is from the Gambia, though the Spanish national team is interested, and so he is currently playing with their U20s. So he will be rotating in the back with Hamidi and Matsima in particular. Yeah, going forward. We signed Manuel Davis. These are the two loanees. He's the backup goalkeeper. I tried to keep our old goalkeeper. He wasn't having it. I tried to find a new, 30-year-old goalkeeper who had, say, 2 stars that I could feel comfortable about playing if I needed him to. Couldn't find him. So we're landing in this guy from Rennes, their third goalkeeper. He's from Equatorial Guinea. Seemed like a solid player. He will be playing our cup matches. We also are loaning in Youssef El Amrani. He is a left winger on loan from Feyenoord. He's Moroccan. Good pace, great agility, 12 crossing, 14 dribbling. A few weaknesses in his mental game, some holes, some decisions, and concentration. But physical are solid, technicals are okay. So with the departure of Cowio, up top we're going to have Santos and Sergio Kone. And on the right wing, we have Chad Daniels, we have Aristides Kone, we also have Santos there. On the left wing, all we really had is Charles Abbey. He's not a great left winger either. He just doesn't have good crossing, and his passing's only adequate. Also, Charles Abbey picked up a 4 to 5 week injury, 4 to 5 month injury, that will leave him on the sidelines and kind of create a hole for us. Now, we were going to work on bringing Aristides Kone and playing him as left Zaidu Youssef. I think he can play on the left wing just fine. He's a very flexible player. So we have some depth to cover there, but I wanted an actual left winger to cover, and so we brought in Youssef El Amrani on loan. He does have a optional purchase deal. I don't anticipate activating that. The minor signing, Eric Mabi, I didn't have a full scout on him, so I didn't know quite how good he could be. He's 18, out of South Africa. Very good physical block, decent mental block. His technicals are lacking. I was hoping he'd have a little more potential ability, but he was just 400k, so hopefully we can get that back out of him. Worst case, we loan him back to the Black Leopards for the year. Then we'll start loaning him out to probably other La Liga 2 teams next year. And the big signing, Bennett Issa. Oh, one of my South African white whales, him and Innocent Makalane. I tried to buy him when Amaturks was selling him to Lazio, but he didn't want to come in here because Lazio was going to pay him more. And they did kind of all right by him, though he admittedly didn't have a great performance for him. They loaned him at Dynamo Kiev. He got some reps there. It's okay. They sold him for big money then to Borussia Dortmund. We got in on this deal multiple times. We didn't have the cash at the time to complete the deal. We were splashing that much. So we had to pay more. We are paying about 26 up front, but we are paying about 12 million over the next 3 years in $4 million chunks or something. So knowing that we're in the Champions League and have a big inflow of money in the future, and hopefully we stay up and keep playing in the Champions League, we can kind of spend that future money on Issa. He has been great so far. 2 games we've played, he has 3 assists, 8.1 rating. So yeah, he's going to be a big part of the center midfield going forward. Speaking of Innocent Makalane, he is not with Cincinnati as his contract went there. The AI doesn't really know how to manage the MLS because the MLS is complicated as hell. But it should be able to handle the designated player rule, which says you only get 3 designated players. That is players whose salary can be anything, but they only count against the normal senior level salary. So there's like a salary cap of, I don't know, $300,000 a year. But you could pay someone $8 million, and it only counts for the $300,000 against the cap, but he's still making $8 million. Those 3 players you get those exceptions for. They already had 3 designated players. They didn't have another way to resolve it. He didn't sign with Cincinnati. Unfortunately, one of the other MLS teams that came in on him initially, Sporting Kansas City, came back in on him. I pursued. And nothing happened. He went and signed with Sporting Kansas City. He does still have a release clause worth $7.25 million in his contract. We will be keeping an eye on him and looking to get him free in the winter window if he's at all interested. And if not, the next window. And if not, the next window. And then at some point I'll become disinterested. I am jumping in here. This is why we started here, is because of the Champions League draw. Unfortunately for us, having only 2 years of European continental football history means we are seeded into the 4th pot, which means we could have some pretty wicked draws. Let's hope we can avoid those, that we can, get Benfica or Genk in the first seed and, say avoid the English, Italian, and Spanish monsters in the, second pot is just monsters. Porto, I guess, is who we want. Yeah, if we get Genk Porto, perfect. Anyways, so let's see how it goes. Drawing out the first pod. So yeah, C's the best pod. H should be fine as well. All right, H keeps being interesting. Benfica, Leipzig. We can't end up in the Genk pot, unfortunately. Real Madrid sits there for us, blocking the way. Can't play Barcelona, Liverpool. That's a nasty pot. I'm glad we're banned from that one. Atletico Madrid will also knock a pot out for us here. And it is the Man City pod, so I'm happy about that. All right, so here we are. Mönchengladbach, Man United, Ajax. I would take that over the Group B that I'm looking at of PSG, Roma, Arsenal. Can't be in Group C. Group D is Bayern, Inter, Dynamo Kiev. Those are roughly comparable in my mind. Group E can't be in. Group F, Man City, Atalanta, Atletico can't be in. Group G, Milan, Porto, Shakhtar. I want Group G. Group G is the group I want. Benfica, Leipzig, Monaco. I would take Group H if you had to give one that. So I want to be waiting forever, but I'm going to be drawn immediately. Nope, Basel. Lovely. Okay, not us. Could be us. And it is. Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, and Dynamo Kiev. So it could be a problem because Bayern and Inter are dangerous foes. We have a couple of days, including the summer transfer day. Yes, it is a tough group. To power through. I don't intend on making any deals in this window. So I will be declining that, and I'm going to try and power through so we can get to a game here. It's a road trip to Valencia. As we apparently start an international window after it. So yeah, we have had 2 games so far. I'm trying to remember. I think they both were 3-0 victories, one on home, one on the road. Pretty unremarkable teams that we played. Pretty much domination on all of them. Game is going to crank here and really take its time thinking about what transaction it wants to make and how it wants to screw me over. I've got teams coming in buzzing me about Ahmed Sami, my left back. I don't really have depth there. I don't have any interest in him leaving me. They've been warnings about Nordine Hamidi. We just signed him a new contract with over $80 million in release clause. I don't think he's going anywhere, but if he is, we have a lot of money coming our way. I think those are the two big ones who are being threatened. I'm a little surprised that, okay. New. Interesting. So Jibril Sow is a player I'd had an eye on for future transfer windows for the next summer because his contract's expiring. I don't have the money to really give him a salary he'd be adequate for, and $14 million seems like a lot to pay for a 32-year-old. Left winger I had tabbed. No, I have no interest in selling Enzo Boyamo. Kasama is not available for loan. In fact, let us transfer loan status unavailable for loan. Stop that. Decline the press conference, and yeah, we need to sign more people. Kind of, not really. Performance analyst certainly won't hurt, but it's certainly not an essential thing. Since we already have some. Okay. Bayern, Inter, Shakhtar. Or was it Dynamo Kiev? I think it was Dynamo Kiev. I'll have to see how Bayern and Inter have done the last couple of years, whether they are still, Bayern just dominated in the world, or if they've stepped back to let others slip past them at all in the Bundesliga. And if Inter has elevated themselves to be the Bayern of the Italian league. I kind of doubt it, given that they were potted second, but you never know. Yep. Yeah, I don't think we should have a... Terrible. Sammy was just injured over the summer for about 4 weeks. So now we lose him for another 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. Don't love it. So Boyamo has become all the more important as he'll be playing a lot of left back. We might play Sessegnon at left back in an inverted position while playing Ananu and or Hamidi or Kasama at right back. We'll see how it goes. Frankly, I'm a bit shorter on depth than I'd like, but just kind of making do. It's tough finding players to fit in, especially at left back, right back. Finding good quality left backs in particular is very hard, but right back's pretty equally hard. I really hope our 16-year-old down in the U18 team, U19 team develops. That would be nice. Give us an option there in 2 years, 3 years. I am, for once, going to skip that. Don't need to see me powwowing through the list of scouting reports, given how long this video is going to run already. Unfortunately, I do need to praise training. I will stick to these top 3 instead of going deeper into the list. Come on. It looks like this is the end of the day. So we should roll over into Saturday. Window closes. Tomorrow should be relatively quick, and we can be on to the game against Valencia. Though, again, we might be here looking at a spinning wheel for a while. Elche beats Las Palmas. Interesting. Burnley have signed Michael Musa. Interesting. For $7.5 million. We get 30% of the transfer profit. All right. Deal. It looks like it was $750,000 and just under $500,000 in future fees. Interesting. I'll have to take a look at how he's performed since he left us when I get a chance, and I'm not pressing to try and get to a game. Excuse me. All right, we are now 18th in salary expenditure. Big moves for us. Team registration. Yep, here it is. Plenty of money. We are financially stable. The new stadium. I'd love to pay off the loan so the loan isn't sitting over our heads, but what can you do? Santos won Player of the Month with his 3 goals in 2 games. Love to see it. No, Issa and Jim. Kone over there. Santos back there. Other Kone up there. Sessignon, Bayamo, Hamidi, Kasama. Yes, but flip those 2, please. Alright, that is who we're going to run out. Be like, that's a crazy lineup. And I'll be like, shut up. I don't care. Oh, good. Inter just spent $216 million. That makes me feel very safe about the team I'm going to be facing here in the Champions League. Also, I imagine both Inter and Bayern have pretty good youth programs, so that could be a problem for the youth Champions League that gets held. But it'll be good games for Bassi and Akendi, our defensive midfielder and our right back that we have high hopes for. All right, come on, keep pressing. Let's go. I had to make a promise to Ahmed Sami that I would sell him if anyone came and met his release clause. And that's the silliest promise in the game, because if someone came in and met his release clause, I'd have to sell him. That's the rules. That's the point of a release clause. So all these other promises are kind of, some of them are really subjective, like, oh, you didn't. Ooh, interesting. 3-3-2-2. They'll be like, oh, you didn't bring in a coach of high enough quality for me. You didn't bring in a player at that position of high enough quality to meet your promise, and it's impossible to know whether you do it or not when you're doing it. Some of them are obviously a little bit more straightforward. Win the La Liga or make the Champions League, whatever it may be. But yeah, the one promise that is completely safe to make is if I get a offer for you that meets your release clause, I'll sell you, because you have to. Babangida balls it forward. Unfortunately, Balde comes away with it. A good retreating run, and he just scuffs it in a bad attempt. They picked up a yellow card here in the 4th minute, and we're moving to the 8th. Issa out to Kone. Kone playing it forward to no one in particular. Alright, it looks like their right back, or maybe their right center back, is the one with the yellow card. So we're looking for the edge, but nope, Hamidi heads it away. Gaia has Sessignon on him. Jim comes up and presses on the center midfielders. I think I'm going to realign our attack here shortly. Given they're playing a 3-3-2-2, dangerous strike, we're going to direct our team to play to the edges of the pitch. They only have, their wing backs are the true wide players. Everyone else is in the middle. They're going to they're going to outnumber us in the center of the midfield, but we should have numbers playing down the edge. Though they're doing a good job of expanding their width out to the edge. So, but if I could hit a toggle for quick crossing, we want to move the ball horizontally. There we go. Santos breaking free. Unfortunately, defender stayed with him. Issa gets the rebound. Kone stone fits it a bit and ends up with the goalkeeper. All right, free kick from Issa. Plays it short. Kone, nah, that was low probability. Love to see the pressure on Zenobio make the goalkeeper think. It's not just a free pass. Hamidi, easy header. Don't get the second header, though. Guedes plays it back to Skip. Skip up to Balde. We have a run with Balde. Plays it back to Solar. There's the cross. Low. Balde is well defended, and ball goes back to Skip. I'm a little surprised that everyone just kind of let the ball trickle through the box there, and no one stepped up and did anything about it. I was going to encourage, but don't want to encourage if we somehow score a goal in this run of action. That would be a bad thing. Jim heads it. Unfortunately, Santos doesn't fight for the ball, and the defense comes away with it. I'm feeling much better at hitting encourage now. Though it is possible we dispossess and take things the other way. Bomb forward, looking for Santos. Turns, squares. Nope. Bad pass to Jim. Gotta hit it now. Even though we still have possession. If it bites me, it bites me. Santos heads it and pops to Zenobia, who makes a altogether unnecessary dive. Plays it away. Unfortunately, the header is won by them, or at least our header trickles back to them. Guedes gets it. Ooh, it's spicy. It catches the woodwork and floats across the goal mouth, but that's not enough. They'll pick up their second yellow card. That could be another center back. No, thank you. Bayama throws into Issa, plays it up to Kone, Youssef, Kasama. Issa to Youssef. Looking for Serge Kone, but the pass is not terribly on frame. A defender comes away with it. Certainly would love to take some balls at the center backs, both on yellow cards already. Really challenge them. Terrible pass on their part. Sessignon easily intercepts. Santos plays it back to him. Plays it into the middle. Santos, no real action to run. Again, this is where I'd love to see him kind of play it. Not just putter around and then Sessignon gets lost. Terrible run of action. Thankfully saved by a save from Babangida. Pretty sure I already told him to do that, but you know, that's how the game be. Media heads it free and Kone comes back to get it. Plays it over Sessignon. I feel like I told Kone to mark two different players, which, I mean, I do have two different Kones, but Sergio Kone is not marking anyone as his striker position. Oh, still can't get through to Benedisa just yet, but hopefully he sees light. Worst case, we swap him out to someone who's having less nerves. Hamidi is having a good game, good headers. Could have been a dangerous tackle there from Kasama. Luckily doesn't get in on the player that much, and we get away with it. Skip plays it with Salai. Saw the defenders closing on him, played the early shot, but at that distance, couldn't find the frame. Used up to Issa, up to Kone, Jim, Santos, but just no space, packed way too far together. Good job, get back, prevent Saleh from his run out. Session's on a 6.5. It's up from a 6.4 that was a second ago. Santos is having a bad game on the right wing. Had 2 goals on the right wing in his first game, so it's not just the fact that he's playing, slightly out of position. I know he'd prefer to play at striker. Hamidi comes in, wins the header, but with such pace, knocks it over the top of the net. Kasama wins the header, plays it up to Jim. Back to Kasama, Hamidi, Jim. Santos back to Sessegnon. Finds opportunity. Looks to play it for Sergio Kone, but Kone isn't making a run. Sessegnon plays it way too far forward. Not what I want to say. Ball's played right to Salai's feet. Ugh. Good save from by Babangida, though. Let's get a shout in. Probably get Santos off with his bad day. Bring in Chad Daniels. I guess the question is, do I want to move Santos up top? Because it doesn't look like Sergio Kone is having much better of a day. Terrible pass there. Move Santos up top. Bring Chad Daniels in on the right wing. Yeah, probably. Ananu at right back. Sission's not having the best of times. Maybe Gaibua for Yusuf. Sounds like a fine trio of substitutions. Ball day back to Skip. Solar. Good job from the center backs getting there and interfere. Though it looks like their player was offsides. Alright. Let's make the substitutions. Oh, Hamidia is gassing out and probably needs a sub more than... that's unfortunate. Well, Matsima it is to handle that. Santos will go play up top. Aristide Kone is already at 2 stars here at the left wing. Love to see that. We're bringing bad Chad Daniels to try and find a goal on the right wing. And... yeah, let's get Gaibua going at defensive midfield. Right. Benedisa. Oh, that would have been truly a great start for the beginning of the year for that young man. If he had potted that one for us, 3 assists and a goal in his first 3 games, I would take it. What were you thinking there, Boyamo? You know, I know it's not a 1-to-1 representation, but if you can throw a contested throw-in, don't do it right into the box. Alright, Kasama will take the free kick, plays it long to Aristide Kone. Doesn't really win the header. But we come away with the ball eventually. Just having a hard time breaking down the bulk. They are very good shifting side to side, and we're not great at switching the point of attack, essentially. We just kind of get bored and then lump it forward. That team barely holds on to make the defensive play that we needed. Zenobio, and it's probably the last action of the game. Session, Gaibua, Santos lays it forward to Daniels, but nope, not particularly good. Yeah, you know, great job from the defense to turn 1.66 xG into nothing. Not a great job from the offensive point to turn 0.6 xG into nothing as well. It was one of those days. I don't want to say anything more. I tend to backfire at this point. But Valencia is a good team, and it was a road game, so I will take a draw on the road to a team that is going to be in the Europa League. Yeah, a team at that level. So, you know, that's where we're at. Yep. I am definitely happy to pay Aristide Kone more money. Deal. So that's where we're at. Need to get over these injuries, though they are semi-long-term. Abby will be out 2 to 4 months. Ahmed Sami another 2 to 4 weeks. Excuse me. Take a look at the schedule. I will be back with at least one Champions League group match. Which ones, I don't know. We'll see whether it's 1 or 2. But yeah, things are going well. I acquired a player I have long wanted to acquire, so I'm very happy about that. Keeping my eye on the future for another one. Got a youth movement in the attacking positions. It's usually pretty good, though, as we saw in this game. Can be a bit stale at times. But overall, happy with what we got going forward for us. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't hesitate to leave a comment, to drop a thought, anything you might have to say. I'll try and get back to you if you do. Other than that, I hope you have a very lovely day, and I will be back with you pretty soon. Have a nice day.